everything we're doing is it hasn't got that instant tick. It hasn't got that 8 week 6 pack. It hasn't got that. Yes, you've got guys who are on 8 week fight camp, but they are the 0.001% of what the fitness industry is, and they don't need a button to press, man. You just need to just put it in front of them, and they'll fucking do it. Those people
100%.
that need to action behaviors and have actual behavior change, that is the key to all of this shit. Is them seeing it and stopping what they're and giving themselves the kick in the balls to get or whatever to do what they need to do, not that spoon fed. Like I remember when you did a podcast, when one of your first ones, you were talking about giving diet plans. You're like, I'm not giving you a fucking diet plan. You take responsibility of your food and start learning about food. And it was so true, because people are what they want this, like,
They want the answers. They want the answers, bro. Here's the thing. As you said at the start, bro, like, you ask me a question, my answer, it depends.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm going to give you the information. The thing is, like, you need to put some work into this. You need to figure out, like, where you're at right now. You need to figure out the direction that you're moving in, and then you need to put the work in. And that's what we do as coaches, is we educate people, because education leads to compliance. If people don't understand what the fuck they're doing and why they're doing something, they're not going to do it, man. But if they understand, the principles, and you teach them, you educate them how to tweak those principles and manipulate those principles to get the most out of them. And sometimes it's not about fucking making gains. Sometimes it is about maintaining where you're at. Sometimes it's about minimizing the damage, and tweaking these things to either move you in the right direction or stop you from moving in the wrong direction. I think that's an important element, man.
Absolutely. No, it's definitely, it's that sliding scale, right? And we're always gonna tip. It's gonna keep on moving, but it's having the ability to pull yourself back into the middle, because being at the edge of a continuum is always gonna have a negative effect. Always,
dude.
Whereas if you
just said that again. Bring it back into the middle. Okay, we just fucking, this whole podcast has been about this balance, right? Equilibrium, homeostasis, right? Always come back to the middle. The answers are never at either end of the spectrum, where people are going, hey, I'm gonna do this fucking crash diet. I'm gonna smash myself at training. Blah blah blah. Like, can that work? Yes, for a period of time. Okay, until it stops working, until your body adapts to it. Now, what do you need to do? You need to get more extreme. All right, there's only so many times you become more extreme before you stop responding to it, and actually you start doing damage, right? So it's all about that balance. Now, I want to go back to what you just said before about working with fighters, man. You're like, I've got these fighters for an 8-week fight camp, and they're all about, right, let's fucking flick that switch, let's get after it. Something that I've implemented in the last 8 months at Tiger is I'm working with these fighters on a periodized all year round training plan, where we're focusing on nutrition, we're focusing on recovery, we're focusing on training, we're managing their weight all year round so that they're in a good position. Once they sign a contract, we've built this foundation of strength, speed, power, energy system conditioning, stability, mobility, balance, coordination, timing, accuracy, all of these skills. They're now eating 3,500 calories. They're, 8 kilos above their fight weight. Now, we're 8 weeks out. Boom. All right, cool. Now we've got somewhere to pull from. Now we can start manipulating their calories. They're not hammering themselves at the gym all year round. They're not training 3 times a day and dieting as they fucking normally do. Now we've got somewhere to pull from. Now we can start adding in some training sessions. They've got a good foundation. Now, rather than signing a contract and going, oh, now I need to get fit. Now I need to start, managing my weight. No, you're already in a good place. You've built that foundation. And Luke talks about it from Muscle Nerds. This is least mode, right? You do the least amount possible to elicit the response that you want, so that when you get to that start line, you sign that contract. Now we go into fucking beast mode, right? Now we start smashing our training. Now we're hammering, everything that we're doing with our training. We're refining our nutrition. We're maybe reducing calories a little bit, but we're also managing our output and our energy balance. We can manage weight, but we're not cutting so much that now we're affecting our performance in a training session, which then affects recovery, which affects hormones, which affects sleep and libido, mood, attitude, energy levels, productivity, blah, 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 right? So, that's something that I'm trying to implement into Tiger Muay Thai that has been missing for a couple of years, in my opinion. And this is learnt from, playing with rugby teams, coaching rugby teams, being a sniper in the military. knowing that, you know, we're deploying to Afghanistan in 6 months' time. All right, I need to be in the best fucking shape possible once I get there, right? So now I'm going to start tweaking, I'm refining. I've got that intent, man. I know that I'm going overseas. I know I'm going to the Badlands. I'm going to make sure that I'm my best fucking possible version of myself so that once I get there, because, hey, at the end of the day, like, once I get into that position, once I go on that deployment, the only thing that I have is the fucking tools that I've worked on, that I've implemented up to that point. I'm not going to get over there and figure it out as I go, right? There's going to be some things that I'm going to need to tweak and adjust, but I got to build that foundation first.
Absolutely. And you sync to the level of your training. And if you're in a, I remember, like, you've had Danny Lennon on not long ago, obviously massive into the nutrition realm, and he was talking about energy deficit disorder and not having enough gas to be able to produce a lot. Like, it's a huge decade era of fighters who have suffered for so long on no gas to be able to get the adaptation they're asking for. So how many more champions or whatever could you have had? But the point you're putting it, as you said, putting it to the tactical athlete, like that year-round professional is important. We ask, like, I talk to my guys about being 80% of the way there all the time. You do not need 100%. To be at 100%, because if you're at 100%, you're gonna fucking burn out. But if you're at 50%, you're a bag of shit.
You want to be fucking peaking 100% at the right time.
Exactly that, and it's important as in those areas for people to understand the yearly plan rather than, and this is why we talk. You talk about the habits getting involved. Is those habits stack on top of each other to produce the goods. If you, like you said, you've got a fighter who's coming in 8 weeks out on 3,500 calories, injury free. He's been sat at home chilling. He's fit. He's running 5Ks in 20 minutes, and he's like, right, cool. I can do 3 a day, but I know it's for 8 weeks. You're sharpening the sword, man. If he's turning up 20 kilos overweight and a bag of shit because he's unfit, it's such a different animal for sure. And I think that's
a completely different fight camp, bro. Now we're just getting that guy in shape and fucking just cutting weight, which means yeah, bro. And it's like, now we need to get him in shape and cut weight, which means they're not going to actually improve on any of their performance. Whereas if we're working on performance, we're managing their injuries, managing their metabolism, managing their performance recovery the rest of the year round. Then once we get to that start line, now we've got tools to be able to put that foot on the accelerator and start dialing everything in and fucking hit that beast mode. Yeah, awesome, man.
100%.
Anything you want to add to that, bro?
No. Just as you said, reiterating for people, just to take out that physical thing, it is a year-long thing, and you should be thinking about the long-term projection of your outcome, not the short-term gratification of just things like, just because you got a holiday you're now going to starve. Think what long-term, what effects you're going to have, because this is what me and you see, and this is what everyone talks, is the after photo, the after diet, the after training camp where they sit there fucked and it takes them 9 months to get out of it. Let's think about eat more, do more, perform at our best, not starve yourself, struggle, and then make our jobs extremely fucking hard to get what you're asking for. Please don't do that.
Yeah. So what Will's talking about here is something that we deal with a lot with general population clients. For the most part, like, most guys are typically coming to build muscle. Most chicks are typically coming to burn fat, or lose weight, in quotation marks. And they've dieted for extended periods of time. They've trained with numerous trainers. They've tried all the fucking diets. They've been eating 1,200 calories for 2 years, and they got good results for the first 6 months, and then those results started slowing down. What do? Add more training, eat less, blah, blah, blah. Then they start losing their period. Then their sex drive fucking collapses. Then they've got no energy. They sleep like shit. Their skin is fucking, dry. Their nails are cracked. Their hair's not growing. Like, they start losing their hair, man. Like, this is a fucking massive problem. That is literally your body telling you that is unhealthy. Like, if you're a female, if you're listening to this and you've lost your period because you've been fucking training too hard, dieting too hard, that is literally your body saying, hey, you know what? We don't have enough energy coming in to support another human life. Let's shut that system down so that we can keep you alive.
Literally, I actually had this with one of my first nutrition clients, and they kept miscarriaging, And I literally went through her diet. She was eating 1,100 calories, and this chick should be eating nearly 3,000. Like, with the job that she has, literally bumped her calories up for 2 months, and lo and behold, she could conceive. And they thought it was a miracle, and it wasn't. I was a bit like, this is it can't be just that simple. But now being in the game longer, that principle of why is my body going to produce a life if I can't even look after my own is huge, especially with females who are looking to start families. That's key.
Yeah. And this is a big one I see with athletes as well, man. Like I obviously work with general population clients with my online coaching, but I also work with professional athletes in person, but also with online coaching. And, you know, this is something I see with professional fighters, mate, is like they're the opposite to general population clients. You know, they're fucking going hard all the time. They're dieting all year round, you know, and they're not eating anywhere near enough to support their performance, their recovery, their adaptation, you know. So a lot of the same principles carry over from eating for health and longevity to performance. You know, as we said before, when I'm working with these fighters, the guys that I've got all year round, focusing on this periodized plan, we're focusing on health, longevity all year round. Then once we get 8 weeks out, boom, put the foot on the floor. Now it's all about performance, right? So we build the performance in the other, you know, whatever, 46 weeks of the year, 44 weeks of the year, whatever it is. Then the 8 weeks, boom, let's hit beast mode,